Welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Shivan Janna. This is Speed News. Let's start. Israel launched a surprise airstrike on Beirut's southern suburbs, killing at least 4 people and wounding 7 others, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health. This is the second bombardment of the area within a week, escalating tensions between Israel and Lebanon. The airstrike targeted a multi-story apartment building in the Dahieh district, causing significant damage and destruction. Residents reported hearing 2 explosions that sounded like missile strikes, followed by panic and chaos. According to reports, the attack occurred without warning, catching many civilians off guard, including those who were asleep in their homes. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has announced a major expansion of a military operation in the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, saying the army would seize large areas of the Palestinian territory. The defense chief said in a statement that Israel would expand its presence in Gaza to destroy and clear the area of terrorists and terrorist infrastructure. Russian drone strikes have hit Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia and Kharkiv regions, killing at least 1 person and injuring 10. The escalation in aerial attacks comes despite US President Trump's push for a ceasefire after more than 3 years of fighting. Russia's defense ministry claimed to have intercepted and destroyed 93 Ukrainian drones overnight, mostly over the Kursk region. Meanwhile, Ukraine's general staff reported that Russia launched 72 strikes and 646 kamikaze drones at Ukrainian territory since the beginning of the day. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov have agreed to strengthen bilateral relations between China and Russia and cooperation across various fields. Wang Yi, who is on an official visit to Russia, discussed with Lavrov on implementing the consensus reached by Chinese and Russian presidents, who engaged in strategic communication twice this year already. They emphasized the importance of deepening comprehensive strategic coordination, particularly in the face of major global changes. China's military drills in the Taiwan Strait have entered their second day. According to Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense, 76 Chinese aircraft, 15 naval vessels and 4 official ships were detected operating in the area. It said that 37 of these sorties crossed the median line, entering Taiwan's air defense identification zone in the northern, central, southwestern and eastern regions. Chinese and Thai navies are strengthening their military cooperation through the Blue Strike 2025 joint naval training exercise currently underway in Guangdong province. The exercise marks the 6th edition of this joint training program. As part of this training, the navies are conducting an anti-terrorism drill focusing on joint maritime operations, anti-submarine exercises and urban counter-terrorism tactics. The exercise aims to enhance their capabilities to jointly address regional security threats and deepen military cooperation. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro is seeking help from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to release 238 Venezuelan migrants imprisoned in a high-security jail in El Salvador. Maduro has demanded El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele to provide a list of the imprisoned individuals citing international human rights law. Trump administration had deported these Venezuelans to the El Salvadoran prison, claiming they were members of the Tren de Aragua, which is a criminal group from Venezuela. The operation was carried out after Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport these alleged gang members.
Una canción.
County Judge Susan Crawford has claimed victory in Wisconsin's Supreme Court election. Crawford, a liberal-leaning candidate, ran against conservative Brad Schimmel, a former Republican state attorney general, for a seat on the court. The election was significant as the court currently has a 4-3 liberal edge, but with one liberal justice retiring, Crawford's win maintains the liberal majority on the court. The campaign was the most expensive judicial contest in U.S. history, with over $90 million spent by candidates, state parties and outside groups. A Democratic U.S. lawmaker shattered a record for the longest speech in Senate history, staying on his feet for more than 25 hours to deliver a fiery protest against President Trump's actions, which he deemed unconstitutional. He is Senator Cory Booker, who surpassed Strom Thurmond's record of 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. US has approved a potential $5.58 billion sale of F-16 fighter jets to the Philippines, strengthening their alliance amid rising tensions with China. The deal includes 20 F-16 jets and related equipment to enhance the Philippine Air Force capabilities and maritime domain awareness and suppression of enemy air defenses. This move is significant as the Philippines has been actively modernizing its air force to counter China's claims in the South China Sea. In a dramatic rescue operation in Myanmar, a man was pulled out alive from the rubble of a hotel after 100 hours after the devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck the country. The video footage released by Myanmar's fire department shows the conscious survivor being rescued through a small hole and placed on a stretcher. The earthquake claimed over 2,700 lives, and it occurred on the 28th of March, the strongest to hit Myanmar in over a century, causing widespread destruction and toppling ancient pagodas and modern buildings alike. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra made a heartfelt visit to families and loved ones of workers trapped under rubble at a Bangkok building site. Following last week's devastating earthquake, she spent about 10 minutes at the shelter, located just meters away from the disaster site, where rescue efforts continue amidst fading hope of finding survivors. Speaking to families, she reportedly offered words of comfort, trying to lift their spirits as they anxiously waited for news about their loved ones. Activists held demonstrations in Rio de Janeiro to commemorate the victims of Brazil's military government, which seized power in a 1964 coup. Demonstration took place in front of a former building used for incarcerations and tortures during the regime. Many held pictures of political opponents that were murdered or those who disappeared, while others displayed flags and stickers referencing the January 8, 2022 invasion of the Capitol building by supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro. Belgium has taken a significant step towards reducing tobacco consumption by implementing a new regulation that prohibits the display of cigarettes and other tobacco products in shops. This measure aims to limit impulsive buying and reduce the visibility of addictive products, particularly among young people. As part of this regulation, supermarkets and shops larger than 400 square meters are no longer allowed to sell cigarettes. Shop owners have had to find creative solutions to conceal tobacco products, ranging from handmade plastic curtains to sophisticated shelves that light up when opened. Mexico has taken a bold step in tackling its childhood obesity and diabetes epidemic by implementing a government-sponsored junk food ban in schools. This move aims to phase out unhealthy foods and beverages such as sugary fruit drinks and packaged chips that are high in salt, sugar, calories and fat. The ban requires schools to remove any food and beverage displaying a black warning logo, which was introduced in 2020 as part of Mexico's front-of-package labeling system. Enforced from Monday morning, the start of the school week, the junk food ban also requires schools to serve more nutritious alternatives to junk food like bean tacos and offer plain drinking water instead of these sugary drinks. This initiative is crucial. According to UNICEF, Mexico's children consume more junk food than anywhere else in Latin America. According to the government statistics, 1/3 of Mexican children are already overweight or obese. The dollar firmed a touch and other currencies held tight ranges as traders anxiously await details of US President Trump's tariff plans later in the day. Now that could set the tone for markets in the near term. Trump has for weeks trumpeted April 2nd as Liberation Day, and White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said reciprocal tariffs on countries that impose duties on US goods would take effect immediately after Trump's announcement. While the dollar rose marginally against a basket of currencies, the rebound comes after the greenback clocked a 3.1% fall in March, its worst monthly performance since November 22. Oil prices steadied in thin trading after falling in the previous session on concerns that new US tariffs may deepen a global trade war that could limit crude demand. The tariff announcement could impact prices either to the upside or to the down, although the balance of risk lies to the downside, given that weaker than expected tariff measures are unlikely to drive a significant rally in Brent, while stronger than expected measures could trigger a substantial sell-off. US oil and fuel inventories painted a mixed picture about supply and demand in the world's biggest producer and consumer. US crude oil inventories rose by 6 million barrels in the week ended March 28th. Gold prices extended their gains following a record high in the previous session as investors sought the comfort of the safe haven metal in anticipation of potential impact of US reciprocal tariffs. According to experts, a US economic slowdown, potential rise in inflation and interest rate cuts could set the stage for gold to reach $3,300 in the coming months. Bullion's rally has also been fueled by strong central bank demand expectations of interest rate easing by the Federal Reserve, geopolitical instability in West Asia and Europe, and increased flows into gold-backed exchange-traded funds. Gasoline inventories, however, fell by 1.6 billion barrels and distillate stocks fell by 11,000 barrels. Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed as investors brace for US President Trump's plan to roll out fresh tariffs. Japan's Nikkei 225 traded higher while South Korea's Kospi slipped in early trade. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was flat while mainland China's CSI 300 added 0.15%. India's Nifty 50 gained 0.45% at the open and led gains in the region after a sell-off in the previous session. Real Madrid advanced to the Copa del Rey final with a dramatic 5-4 aggregate win over Real Sociedad after drawing 4-4 in the second leg after extra time. Real Sociedad, trailing 1-0 from the first leg, overcame the deficit in the 16th minute, but Endrick equalized for Madrid. A deflected goal by Mikel Oyarzabal and an own goal by David Alaba put Sociedad ahead. Jude Bellingham and Aurelian responded for Madrid. Real Madrid booked their place in the final when Antonio headed home an extra time winner. They will play either Barcelona or Atletico Madrid for the title. England's former captain and legend Charlotte Edwards has been appointed head coach of the women's cricket team. The 45-year-old replaces John Lewis, who was sacked after England's 16-0 whitewash in the women's Ashes earlier this year. Edwards has built a successful coaching career, leading Mumbai Indians to 2 women's Premier League titles and winning 5 trophies with Southern Vipers, including 2 titles in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, named in her honour. She represented England over 300 times in a 19-year career. Hollywood's legendary actor Val Kilmer, who is renowned for his roles in films like Batman Forever, Tombstone, The Doors, Top Gun, he passed away at the age of 65 following a prolonged battle with throat cancer. Kilmer, who was a prominent leading man of the 1980s and 90s, left an indelible mark on cinema with his performances in Top Gun, Real Genius, Heat and The Saint. David Fincher will direct Brad Pitt in a Netflix sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from a script by Quentin Tarantino. This film will focus on Pitt's character Cliff Booth. This project is unique because it is a sequel of a Tarantino film being directed by another high-profile filmmaker who was famously collaborated. He has collaborated with Pitt for movies such as Seven and Fight Club. Pitt won an Oscar in the supporting actor category for his role in the Tarantino directorial. Celebrating 30 years in the global music and film industry, Academy Award-winning composer A.R. Rahman will premiere his ambitious musical production, Wonderment, The Tour. According to a press release, Wonderment is envisioned as an artistic journey, seamlessly blending music, visuals and storytelling into a spectacular live event. Mumbai concert will mark the tour's inaugural performance.